Welcome to the Tech Blog Writer Podcast, your guide to future tech trends and innovation in a language you understand. Now, over to your host, Neil Hughes.
Welcome back to another episode of the Tech Blog Writer Podcast. Now, one of the areas that I need to focus a little time on is video. Yeah, I record daily podcasts and I write for a living, but people keep telling me, Neil, video is the future. The problem is, one, I have a great face for radio, and also two, the thought of mastering video editing, video production, lighting, etc. just fills me with dread. But I recently came across a solution called Cinamaker, which is the first highly accessible pro-quality live streaming and video production app that links up cameras of all kinds, from smartphones to DSLR cameras, and will automatically create a live stream and on-the-fly live edits by simply tapping a tablet. The upshot is multi-camera video production no longer requires thousands of dollars in equipment or a large crew to pull it off. Cinamaker essentially allows creators to capture, record and switch between multiple cameras, and they can even record and mix up to 8 separate audio channels and embed media assets. And then with a tap of a screen, users can live stream to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and so many of the video platforms out there for instant distribution. So this was more than enough to grab my attention, so buckle up and hold on tight as I beam your ears all the way to Atlanta so we can speak with Benjamin Nowak from Cinamaker. So a massive warm welcome to the show. Can you tell the listeners a little about who you are and what you do?
Absolutely. Hi, Neil. Thanks for having me. I think I'd lately like to describe myself as a product innovator and entrepreneur. My day-to-day responsibilities kind of span navigating this ship called a startup. Today, I'm leading about 4 other business professionals and a team of 20-plus engineers. So lots of engineering and entrepreneurial startup activities.
Now, I'm always curious about the backstory behind any of my guests and the story behind the company and what made it come to fruition. Now, after a little research, I discovered that you started programming at the age of only 12 years old, but your career was almost squashed when you caught the attention of the FBI after some mild hacking. I mean, can you tell me more about those early years and your 1-year ban from computers?
Sure. I guess I felt it was okay to put my my criminal record on my LinkedIn profile. I might be the only person. And technically, nothing ever went on my record. I was a minor, and I spent a few weeks after that incident with several government agencies telling them everything I knew about the world of hacking and phreaking. And this was, the early 80s. So it was very new. So I guess before that, and around that time, I spent my time in computing a few different ways. I used to run bulletin board systems, which is, I guess, a modern day internet website or old school internet website. Was involved in graphics and programming. I recall making my own kind of first generation MTV graphics for the folks who've been around for a little while. I recall there was a flag on a moon with the gentleman, so I copied that. I was a teenager. I thought it was real cool. Did my own graphics, used screen wipes, and made animation. Some programming, wrote a trivia game. I guess the most sophisticated thing I did at that was reading and writing structured data files, which, as I think back, is kind of like the first CMS, if you will, that I had to write the back end of my trivia game. And then lastly, I was a member of a small group of other teens who were called the New Orleans Pirates Guild. And we did hacking. We used to remove copy protection from newly released games, because back then everything had a like physical copy protection on the discs. And everybody, all the hackers around the country/world would race to get it removed and put it on their BBS and distribute it with their hacker's name on there, and that was a big deal back then. So lots of other kind of geeky stuff related to hacking and phreaking with Novation AppleCat modems and Apple II computers and old tech, if you will.
Oh, I can't beat it. Got so many happy memories of that old tech that you mentioned there. But here you are now in 2018 with Cinamaker, which is described as the first highly accessible pro-quality live streaming and video production app that links cameras of all kinds, such as smartphones to DSLR cameras. And it also enables you to create live streams on the fly with live edits by simply tapping a tablet. That sounds incredibly cool, especially for any creatives listening. But can you offer an overview of exactly what Cinamaker is, and what problems it solves, and what makes it stand out from all those other solutions out there?
Certainly. Well, we like to say we are the first professional multi-camera studio solution for mobile. There have been a number of attempts out there, and good attempts of companies that have tried to integrate mobile phones, digital cameras, and tablets, and do what is done in higher-end desktop and dedicated systems that cost thousands and tens of thousands of dollars. We think we're the first ones who've achieved that. We've gone after making video creation easy. We've taken what we think is a very complex procedure, multi-camera production, whether you're doing live or recorded. Just the entire systems and workflows historically have been time-consuming, complex to operate. We think we've made it super easy. So we saw a strong market need for a value-based solution for the new creators that are entering the market that'll never spend $2,000, $3,000, $5,000 on a editing solution. And with that, we felt mobile native and mobile easy are kind of key to the success there. And also we saw an opportunity. We were founded around a synchronization technology, and we really believe the value we bring are some of these more advanced workflows that help speed production. And these are workflows that leverage IP technology and the ability to move video over a network and synchronize media from disparate sources. So with the tool, we wanted to give rapid production and have a very agile solution, easy to use, low cost, and very portable.
So for anyone listening that would be interested in this kind of thing, how does it work? How can anyone listening capture, record, and switch between those multiple cameras, record and mix up to 8 audio channels and embed media assets? And then on top of that, they just tap with a screen, live stream to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, or other platforms, or just for instant distribution straight away. How easy is it to use?
Just as you described.
Yeah.
We have 2 buttons, just to emphasize how simple it is. We have one app that runs on an iPad, and the way you start that up says be a director. That pulls up a preview screen, and then from an iPhone, you can be an assistant, a camera assistant, an audio assistant, and then we allow other cameras to connect. But by touching those 2 buttons on the iPad, you can get a live preview of any camera that becomes an assistant. So you've got this control window. You see your assistants. You have one button to start or stop recording or start or stop a live stream. We've got deep integration into Facebook and YouTube. So if you want to go to groups or pages you manage, there's no complex RTMP setup. We also support live streaming to any destination. If you do have RTMP, a URL and a private key, we enable that fairly simply. But it's, the goal was mobile easy, but you have a really sophisticated set of tools from the iPad where you live preview, remote control your cameras, do your recording. It's a live switcher. If you're going live, we have an audio mixer built in. We can bring in feeds not only from local cameras, but remote cameras anywhere in the world. It's that easy.
So if you've got an iPhone and a DSLR kind of camera,
Yes.
How does it pick those up without a big sea of unsightly cables everywhere?
That's fair. So we work with wired and wireless encoders. For most of our professional setups, we recommend our wired solution, which is essentially an Ethernet hub that connects the iPad to the iPhones and also to a HDMI encoder. So from an encoder, we can plug a game system in, PC Mac, or any professional camera.
And you really do make it sound so simple. So who is your target audience and what is their tech skill level, would you say?
Yeah, that's a good question. We think our audience is potentially very, very large, although we are going to focus on existing creators initially. When people who create videos today see our solution, it's kind of a no-brainer for them to help them automate, whether it's just the acquisition, being able to get multi-angle footage in sync, or doing live edits, or even live streaming. Ultimately, we think it's everyone. It's the next generation of creators. But there's an educational process that'll have to happen, because to move people from one camera to a multi-camera studio, there are a number of use cases where it's makes a lot of sense and is a no-brainer to switch to it, and we will target those people first. We are going after current video creators to show them a new way how to do things that may not be using multi-camera.
So what's the story behind Cinamaker? I mean, as a man that loves hacking, legally of course, I mean, what's the moment of inspiration that brought Cinamaker, and how did you bring that Cinamaker idea to life?
Several years ago, I identified an opportunity to leverage our expertise in synchronization technology. We had built an app called Tunemob, which was quite novel. It allowed you to play the music from your iPhone on your friends' iPhones in perfect sync. And we got a ton of downloads, and I actually started charging money a couple years in and made a few dollars with it. But all in all, it was more of a novelty and kind of a fun project. But ultimately, we realized that the synchronization technology could have a significant benefit to streamline video production. Sync is necessary in any type of multi-camera post-production, or if you're doing any live production. So by putting all the phones and using those algorithms to put encoders or even any other IP-based cameras all in sync, we knew we could speed things up and add a high degree of automation to the production.
So what's the cost of entry? And if anyone's listening to us speak now and Googling Cinamaker as we speak, how do they get up and running as quickly as possible?
So we're super easy and we're super affordable. Based on the use case, if you wanted to set up a two-camera studio in your home or office, you'll be able to use our free version that has no promotional bugs or graphics on it. We really wanted to just get people comfortable and familiar with two-camera production. So that would be the free way. And the other side, we have a hardware starter kit. As I mentioned earlier, Wi-Fi is not optimal for all conditions, especially when you're trying to move 4 HD video signals through the air. So we also have a kit that has a network hub, your iPad and iPhone adapters, and all your cabling you needed for a 4-camera setup for $300 US. I think that works out to about 200 pounds, I believe.
Wow. That's cool. That is really affordable, isn't it? So what's next for Cinamaker? I mean, how do you see the service evolving over the next few years?
We have a very, very long product roadmap, and we've got a lot of creative, innovative people on our team. I see further automation, incorporating more intelligence into the production itself and making recommendations to the directors, or even taking over certain decisions. Ultimately, we're going to let our customers guide us. What we've gone out to build over the past few years is really just kind of a powerful tool that meets the needs of today's creator. But there's a lot of continued innovation and interactivity and new platforms, and we'll keep evolving it to support where things go.
Fantastic. Well, I think you've got to have inspired a lot of people to take video seriously here, because I think a lot of people are put off by how technical it can be. So for anyone that is listening that's interested, can you remind them of where they can find you online, and also maybe contact a member of your team if they've got any questions?
That would be great. We are at Cinamaker.net. That's Cinamaker.net. We've got our pre-release version in the App Store today, which is very powerful. We have our final release coming August 1, which has our new live editor and smooth transition into Premiere and Final Cut. So, but we encourage people to go download it, start using it, and give us a try. And, we're a young company. We're about to launch. So I don't know how dangerous this is and how long this podcast will last, but please contact myself, Benjamin, BenJamin, at Cinamaker.net. My goal and the management's goal here for our first, at least as many as we can handle, we're saying about 35 each. So first 150, 200 folks we are going to give personal attention to so that we can make sure everyone's successful with our tool.
Fantastic. I must admit, because I only do an audio podcast here, and one of the reasons for that is because video I've just always found too complicated. But the fact that you've just sold me an idea there where I can have multiple cameras set up and then with a tap of a screen live stream what I'm doing to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch or other platforms in an instant distribution method just blows my mind. It's fantastic. So I'm going to be checking you guys out. But more than anything, just a big thank you for coming on the show today and best of luck for the future. Thank you.
Excellent, Neil. Thank you so much.
Like I said at the beginning of this podcast, video production and editing has kept me away from video for a long time. But I love the idea here and the fact that you can have a camera and multiple iPhones in a variety of angles, and then with a tap of a screen you can live stream to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, etc., all for instant distribution. It's just amazing. I also like our creators can revisit footage via live editing workflow and that enables them to re-edit recordings with an in-app editor, all in real time, which essentially saves countless hours in post-production. Now, I'm new to this area, and everything Ben told me today completely blew me away, especially the simplicity of it all. But what about you video guys and dolls out there? Have you tried Cinamaker? Will you be testing it after listening to today's conversation? And are there any other solutions out there that you're quite passionate about too? I'm conscious there's going to be a lot of people listening all over the world that are starting to take video more and more seriously. And I think anything that can break down those barriers of complex technological solutions has got to be a great thing. So I want to hear your stories, the software that you like, and even the ones you don't like. As always, email me techblogwriter@outlook.com or tweet me at Neil C. Hughes. But that's it for today's episode, gang. So a huge thank you for tuning into the show. I'll return tomorrow with another great guest, but until next time, don't be a stranger.
Thanks for listening to the Tech Blog Writer Podcast. Until next time, remember, technology is best when it brings people together.